Okay, so if you thought Grace's first wedding night was a nightmare, well, this one is the apocalypse. We're about to break down the absolutely wild, bloody plot of the fictional sequel, Ready or Not 2.
And that quote right there, that's literally what Grace tells her long-lost sister after surviving that insane family ritual. I mean, it is the understatement of the century, right? And it's the perfect way to kick off a story that's about to get so much crazier. So you'd think surviving the night would be the end of it, but nope, Grace's ordeal is far, far from over. She wakes up, not to freedom, but in a hospital bed, handcuffed. And get this, she's now the prime suspect in the bizarre massacre of her new in-laws. Just unbelievable. And who's her one and only visitor? Her estranged sister, Faith. And yeah, their reunion is, let's just say, it's tense. See, they grew up together in foster care, but their paths have gone in wildly different directions. Faith has this seemingly perfect life, while Grace is, well, she's covered in blood and trying to explain a satanic murder cult. You can imagine how that conversation goes. Okay, but here's where things get really interesting. While Grace is being questioned by the cops, word gets out to a secret global council. Yeah, you heard that right. This powerful organization of ancient families gets the news. The bride survived. And for these people, that's not a problem. Oh no, it's an opportunity. For them, the game is officially back on. Their escape from the hospital doesn't last long, of course. They're captured and taken to this lavish mansion where they're about to meet the real players in this deadly game, the Labal Council. And these aren't your average billionaires, folks. We're talking about a collection of eccentric, highly skilled hunters, each with their own special brand of lethality. And they are all fighting for the top spot, a position Grace just sorta accidentally opened up. So here's the deal. The council's lawyer lays it all out. It's a double or nothing game for the throne. Grace, obviously, is like, no way, I'm out. She wants absolutely nothing to do with it. But, they have leverage. They tell her, play the game and survive until dawn, or they'll kill her sister, Faith, right there on the spot.
And just like that, the hunt begins. But this time, the rules are different, the players are way deadlier, and the stakes are higher than they've ever been. So these new rules just add a whole new layer of chaos to the game, right? You've got antique weapons, which means totally unpredictable kills. And that no team kills rule. It basically turns this into a total free-for-all with Grace as the one and only target. And to make things even worse, Grace is now literally handcuffed to Faith, the sister who, let's be honest, kind of thinks she's a liability. So, bound together, they have to run through this massive, deadly estate while being hunted by drones, snipers, and assassins from the world's most powerful families. No big deal. Just when it feels like they're completely cornered, a cryptic message comes from one of the hunters, offering this little glimmer of hope, a loophole, a way to win this thing without just surviving until dawn. And they start to fight back. In what has to be one of the most brutal and, frankly, creative moments of the night, they corner the hunter Barrage in a laundry room filled with these execution devices. They manage to trap him in a giant industrial execution washing machine, taking their first opponent right off the board. Okay, so with 100 down, the entire dynamic of the game starts to shift. Grace and Faith had just proven they're not just victims anymore, and you better believe the other players are starting to notice. Remember Wan Shan, the hunter who whispered about that loophole? Well, she's back, and she's not there to kill them. She's there to make a deal. The deal is pretty simple. Grace marries Wan Shan's son. The Shan family gets the power, and in return, Grace and her sister get to live. It's basically a corporate merger, sealed with a wedding. But Grace, she shuts it down, hard. She refuses to become part of their murderous world. And in a rare, quiet moment, that fractured bond between the sisters finally just snaps. All the resentment from their shared traumatic past just boils over. Faith confesses her perfect life was a total facade, a lie she built just to make Grace jealous for what she saw as abandonment. It's this really painful reminder that even when you're handcuffed together, the deepest wounds are the ones you can't even see. And now, we're at the end game. Alliances have shattered, the hunters are closing in, and that clock is ticking. This is where all comes to a bloody, spectacular head. With Faith's life on the line, Grace decides to totally flip the script. She takes that marriage loophole idea and makes it her own. She proposes marriage to Titus, the most ruthless hunter of them all, offering him the one thing he can't resist: ultimate power. And so, here we are at another wedding. Grace is in a bridal gown, surrounded by council members dressed like guardians of hell, standing before a satanic altar. It looks like she's about to be married into the very organization she despises, all to save her sister. The vows are exchanged. Titus puts the ceremonial ring on her finger. He hails Satan. And in that exact instant, Grace stabs him. Not just once, but over and over. She takes the ring from his finger, puts it on her own, and in the most shocking turn of events, becomes the single, undisputed new head of the entire Labale Council.
So now, she's in complete control. The ultimate outsider now holds all the power, all the wealth, and the loyalty of this ancient, terrifying organization. And as everyone kneels before her, they're all just waiting to see what she'll do with this absolute power. And in her first official act, as the head of the council, she does something nobody could have ever seen coming. She looks at all of them, and she removes herself from the organization entirely. She quits. She abdicates the throne.
Her quitting creates this massive power vacuum. She throws the ring into a pit, and the remaining hunters just descend into this homicidal frenzy, killing each other for it. But as dawn breaks, the curse takes its final toll, and the entire organization is wiped out in a spectacular, gory explosion.
As the sun rises, Grace and Faith just walk away from the carnage, leaving us with one last, really provocative question. You know, when you're an outsider faced with a system so corrupt it's rotten to its core, do you take the power and try to change it from the inside, or do you just burn it all to the ground?